All right, folks. So this is part two with my anchor. Come, anchor. You good boy. You good boy. So this is part two. Papi, you interrupting daddy. This is part two. We talked about the QS5000 motor, and we also talked about the QS8000 motor. We talked about the prices, what the prices are. So we established through Alibaba and through eBay and Amazon that Amazon is the most expensive. eBay will be pretty decent prices, still expensive, and of course the best choice will be Alibaba, and their prices are, as I mentioned before, 5,000 uh, for Jesus Christ, Papa. I'm videotaping, dude. Come. So it's 5,000 for 500 with 100 amp Subaton, or 150. You can choose. It's going to be about $100 more. And then we have the 8,000 watt motor with my boy in a video, 150 volt, 150 amp Subaton, and that would run at about $800 to $1,000 without shipping, and that's from Alibaba, which is being raised about 50% to what I have observed and watched throughout the 2 years of COVID. And we also at the end mentioned and discussed the non-brand motor, and my question and everything that I could mention about non-brand motor, I'm going to mention here on this video. Now, why do, because the fact is I do use non-brand motor on my builds. The current one you've seen with the red panels, that motor is rated at 72 to 94 volt battery, and the controller is set at 80 amps. The matching battery to it is 50 amp continuous and 100 amp peak. That means that it only responds to thrust and split seconds demands. Usually when you step on a throttle, the demand is very high for about 3 to 4 seconds, and the controller takes 100 amps from the battery, and it only lasts about 3 seconds. Okay, so we are comparing QS. Papi, why you talk so much? We're comparing QS. What? We're comparing QS 5000 motor. That's the 203. They also rated at 3000, but it's all kind of contradicting itself. Then we have the QS, I believe 273 or 275. That's rated at 8,000 watts, and I believe peak is like 16,000. But that's the beast. That's a big wheel. And then of course the unbranded motor that I am using in my bike. What have I experienced in the motor, or with the motor? Well, it gets warm, kind of hotish thing right in the middle. How can I do this? Do I do it like this or like that? He's hungry. We just had breakfast. Chicken. Chicken was good. Chicken was so good. Yeah, it was so good. The chicken was so good. The chicken was so good. Yes, it was. Yes, it was, Daddy. Thank you so much. Can you come down, relax, please? You're going to talk like that all day. Anyway, let's have the video. Oh, everybody's listening to you outside. Oh, what happened? What happened? Okay. All right. So, so what do I have to say about the non-brand motor? Right. My suggestion is, let's stop pretending. Okay, not everybody makes $150,000 a year, and the performance out of 5,000 QS and the performance out of 5,000 non-brand motor. it is exactly the same. There's really no difference. Okay, there's really no difference. Okay, and I think what could happen is that lots of people will switch over to non-brand motors. I see lots of my friends and customers preferring the non-brand motor, especially if I tell them it is. So the motor is costing me about $150. I charge for the motor $250 because I am willing to replace the motor um, within 1 year. Okay, so the motor goes bad within 1 year, and I don't see any abuse on the motor or any burnt wires or any way that the sealed in the cup was open, that the motor was either taken apart or disassembled, and somebody was attempting to fix it, solder it, and do all kinds of things. I have no problem replacing it. So again, 250 versus easily 500 with the 250. You're not getting a controller. You are only getting uh, the motor, the rim. You're getting another brand new rim and the motor. Okay, and again, the difference between QS5000 and the non-brand 5000, there's no difference. Papa, you're interrupting me. Seriously, you're interrupting me, and I need to say something to the camera. Okay, Papa, please. Okay, can we talk about it later, please? I know you look very smart. Yes, you're a very smart dog. But then let me finish, and then I deal with you. It's okay. All right. Sorry about that, folks. It's like having a kid in the house. So I don't see any difference in performance. The fact is, I am 250 pounds, 255, and it will get warm, continuously operating at 50 miles an hour. That's a given, okay. But I believe and I trust the non-brand company also, okay, that it is a decent motor for that amount. $250. It's a very easy replacement. Look, I understand. I mean, okay, so with the non-brand, we already established you can go 50 miles an hour, and if I was to, let's say, weigh 150 pounds, 170, 180, which is an average person that rides these bikes, um, that's pretty decent results. Versus, so let's say you got to buy the whole system, right? So it's about probably $450 for the controller and the non-brand motor. Um, but that was, it's kind of funny because if you look at it, right, the motor and the controller from non-brand is about $450, right? And the QS5000, they also claiming $500. So, but I try to kind of look, and I wasn't I wasn't able to get the entire system for $500. My last video is for $500. I am able to get it for $500. That is correct, but that's ordering in bulk. That's ordering about 10 of them, which is about $5,000 altogether. Okay, and when you go on Alibaba, these prices are pretty much, they aren't simple prices. They are prices that you buy in bulk. Okay, um, so I've seen I've seen crazy prices. Let's just say that. Okay, let's just say that I will be able to get the entire system for 500. You might be able to do so also by negotiating. But on eBay, you're not gonna see anything less than 800. On Amazon, you're not gonna see nothing less than 1,000 for for either 5,000 or 8,000 watt motor. And my personal belief in what I saw, the 8,000 watts, you need to have a crazy beast battery. Um, excuse me, anything under 50 amp hour battery at 150 amp BMS, it's going to be underpowered. So it at the end of the day, it defeats the point of getting the 8,000 watt bike because now, I mean, if your budget is, let's say, $8,000 for the bike, right? I mean, I guess you can go with that. Um, but if your budget is slow and not coming pretty much regularly to your household, I would definitely stick with the non-brand. As a matter of fact, let's say this is your first, second, third, fourth, fifth build, whatever build it is, right? I would still go with non-brand motor. It is so easy to maintain it. It is so easy to purchase it. It is so easy to what do you call, to replace it from anywhere. On eBay, I've seen the controller at about $120, 80 amp, 72 volts. Um, that's I definitely want everybody to start using non-brand motors because they're cheaper and just face it. I see so many YouTubers on YouTube build their bikes and they have to replace the Salvatron like twice, three times, and unfortunately, every time they had to replace it, they literally had to purchase it um, either from a local shop or a friend that had a bike and took it apart and I was selling things like that, so certain people do it, or had to buy a new one. And what would I rather do? Would I like to spend whatever it is, the $800,000 for Salvatron system, or would I rather spend, let's say, $250 for the non-brand motor that runs like any 5,000 motor, 5,000 QS motor? Do you know what I mean? So I use the 5,000 non-brand motor, and I love it. And it does what it needs to do. Its purpose is to pretty much move my bike, and it does it extremely well. Um, I don't think I can get more out of him than 55 miles an hour. I don't think that that motor for my weight would be good for heavy duty off road riding. Okay, I would have to be about 180 pounds to use that motor for that purpose. So if you probably go like off road seriously and you are 200 pounds and above, you want to use the QS5000. If you was us in New York City using it locally on the streets, I definitely suggest 5,000 watt non-brand motor because it's cheaper. Its purpose is being fulfilled, which is to spin without any issues and breakdowns. You don't need to put thermal fluid on it or in it. You don't need to put heat sinks, okay? And like I said, it worked for me for 44 miles. I had very short stop, I believe one stop. Uh, in regards to completing the 44-mile run, the computer never shut down. There was no thermal shutdown on a system. Um, Again, it was a 72-volt system at 50/100 peak amps. It worked great. So to whoever, the people, the guys that are emailing me, texting, DMing me, and having all these questions, and the clients and the future customers, there are people that reach out to me saying, how much would it cost me to do this, and that. And I had a fat bike tire where I installed the non-brand 5,000 watt bike, and the guy, I think he already did last year entire season, and he's looking forward to another season. So you never know, right? I would. I'm not gonna go with the QS. because I'm scared of a Sabaton controller. It's just lots of people, lots of clients, customers that I deal with, they want to plug and play, which I don't blame them. They don't want anything confusing. And I tell them what I tell you guys, that the less wires you have in your bike, the easier it is to troubleshoot. The more um, specific you are in your build, the less likely your bike is going to break down on the road. Um, I when I was pretty much testing the bike, I had only one hiccup, which was my fault because I didn't use the right gauge for wire, power wire, for the kill switch. So that was my mistake. And again, because I was not going with my protocol, which is make sure that when you do something, you do it at 100% and no possibility of a failure. So you can't just say, let me not solder this wire. I'll just kind of like wiggle it together and hopefully it'll stay. So that's not an option. Um, all my electric work is done with proper sockets, waterproof sockets, where you plug in and unplug in and it's disassembled. I don't have crazy amount of wires going. You can see my bike. Um, the motor was fitted very well in the frame. That's why I don't want to change it, because it just fits really great, even without the torque arms. So that's successful, and it's just been a blast using non-brand motor. Um, so my conclusion is, there is no way that I want to have a complicated system where I have to set it up uh, by connecting my USB wire and do the wheel uh, sensitivity test and the whole test is what it's called. And there is a special way that you have to wake up the BMS from Silverton. You got different stages of light indication at Sabaton. So in other words, what I'm saying is Sabaton controllers are complicated if you're not familiar with it. And even if you are familiar with it, you can have lots of complications. It is a very sensitive system. It has the heat control, has the regen, has everything. And that's, for me, that's too much, because I literally have a throttle wire. What else I have? A throttle, a whole sensor wire. That's two wires from the controller. Okay. Then I have positive, negative for the battery, and that's it. Okay. So I have a whole sensor, positive, negative for the battery, and the three wires for the motor. So it's really 5 wires, and that's it. So there's only possibility for 5 hours. But anyway, guys, try the non-brand and let me know. Okay, this is a long video. I'm sorry about it, but this is the second part to the first part, and I'm pushing for the support of non-brand brushless motors. I haven't seen one with 8,000 watts. I only see one with 5,000 watts. So you guys that are 8,000, and there's no above, okay? There's 8,000. What that means is, if you push 8,000 to this bike, it's going to continuously operate at 8,000. If you change your amps and you put your amps into 300 amps, that's going to be 25,000 watts. This bike is not going to run forever. The motor is not going to run forever. There's going to be too much stress on the motor, and the way these things work inside, they'll just melt apart and come right off the magnets, if you know what I'm talking about, because you're going to overheat and then overcook your system inside. So I don't suggest that. If the bike is, or the motor is rated at 5,000, keep it at 5,000 continuous. If it's rated at 8,000, keep it at 8,000 continuous. You can have bursts here and there, but don't put 300 amps into it and go crazy. All right, that's my suggestion. I would definitely, anytime, any day, go with a non-brand motor because it is extremely cheap and it's a convenient way of to either replace your broken existing motor or just have a spare or have a spur for parts. I do it a lot. Just usually what I've done, I've done the shaft, but that's just me. Anyway, folks, I am tired. It's Saturday. I'm gonna go relax. Take care. Hope you enjoyed this video.